The Miss Wolfie from Our Half Acre Homestead, and yes, I'm going on a rant. I don't rant as much as I used to because I find it pointless. I really do find it pointless in the sense that who listens? The people who actually listen are those folks that already know. Sounds like Gracie's chasing chickens. The people who listen to these rants are the people who already know where I'm coming from, so I'm preaching to the choir. But every once in a while, somebody says something so profoundly idiotic that it just burns my boat. And the fact that this person made now let me count this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or 11 paragraph statement doesn't make it so. It doesn't make it real. Just because you use a lot of words doesn't make it correct. Okay? I am as I record this, I am making a big batch of pectin because I really hated putting organic blueberries in a pot with organic sugar and putting store-bought pectin on it that I have no idea how it was processed. And so I went back to look at my video to make sure I was doing it correctly, and this person said, because in the original video I used organic apples as I am using now, and this person said, and I'm not going to use his name, but I will print this great big long explanation in the show more info box below this video so you can read it for yourself and judge for yourself. Let's not even judge. You can just separate the wheat from the chaff, okay? Now, 5 days ago, apples do not need to be organic to eat or to use for making pectin. Pesticides and fungicides are perfectly safe if used properly and then given the correct interval between the final application and harvest. You know what my response was? I can't see. I said, "You can't be serious." Apparently he was. Because he said, yes, completely serious. Now, folks, I am not going to read this entire letter because he obviously went off on a tangent of his own. But I am going to point out some facts here and some things he said that just I find humorous, okay? Yes, completely serious. People have gotten this notion that somehow the introduction of any chemical is somehow evil. It bloody well is. There are certainly some chemicals that have been used that are dangerous to humans and or other animals, but so are lots of things that we use all the time. It's just a matter of knowing the risks and how to reduce or eliminate them. Eliminate. Okay. Think of the anti-salt craze that has come and faded away a bit. People ran around worrying about how much salt, a chemical, he puts in brackets, they consume. Too much salt can harm or kill, and too little will kill you for certain as well. So do you use salt? It can be deadly. Okay, buddy, starters. Salt is not a chemical. It is a mineral, a natural mineral, especially the salt I use. Okay, when I'm canning, I use Windsor coarse pickling salt. Why? No bloody additives at all, not even iodine. Okay? 2, I use pink Himalayan salt on my food. Okay? Why? Because it's pink. Why is the pink Himalayan salt? Not to be confused with pink curing salt. Never confuse the two. Pink Himalayan salt is completely unadulterated, a natural mineral that has been mined out of the Himalayas, and it's pink because it's full of wonderful vitamins and minerals. And I can drink a gallon of water and it's gonna kill me if I chug a gallon of water. Do I stop drinking water? No, of course I don't stop drinking water. Okay? Please, buddy, think before you speak. He goes on to say there are simple rules to follow when spraying pesticides and herbicides. And if they are followed, then sufficient time will be given for the residue to wash off and or break down into its constituent elements. One of the main problems in the past was the use of chemicals, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's go back to sufficient time will be given for the residue to wash off and or break down into its constituent elements. Where does it go when it gets washed off, my friend? If it rains, it gets washed into the soil. And that soil is what is supporting the life of the tree. And if it doesn't get caught in the soil, where does it go? It goes into the friggin' water table, which, oh, by the way, gets sucked up by the trees and makes those apples so juicy. Because we live in what is called a closed environment. And a closed environment means whatever we put into our environment goes into the soil, into the water table, and then gets evaporated up into the atmosphere, into the air, hits the atmosphere, because the atmosphere, the ozone layer, is like a sheet of plastic, hits it, and then comes down in the rain. So where does it go? Right back into our environment and into our bodies. And if you don't eliminate as many chemicals as you possibly can, you're putting them in your body with the water and the food and the soil. Yeah, you can wash pesticides off your apple, but what about the ones that have been sucked up by the tree that are in your apple? Okay, you can't tell me that shit's healthy. Gracie, what are you chewing on? Now, tell me something. Tell me, buddy, that your body is designed to break down man-made chemicals. Just go ahead and tell me, because you know what? I'll call you a liar to your bloody face. One of the reasons why I have fibromyalgia and acute osteoarthritis, and I have obesity issues, even though I have had gastric bypass surgery and have spent the last 9 years changing how we eat and how we raise our food to be as organic as possible, because again, I pick my battles. There's just we can't do everything as we would like. But picking your battles means cutting out what you can. Now, if you don't eliminate all the chemicals you can, your body becomes your filter. And you end up like this. And you people who don't know me, you can go on and tell me all the diets in the world and all the things in the world, but my body has been destroyed by chemical pollutants, because we lived 1 block away from the waterfront of Lake Ontario in downtown Toronto. So my body, at a very young age, from birth, was polluted with heavy metals, not to mention the chemical pollutants in the air of the 1960s and 70s. So today, where I am today, is the only reason I can do and live the life as much as I live it now is A, because I have Howard, and B, because we turned it around and are living a healthier, simpler life and eliminating as much of the chemicals and processed foods as possible in our lives. Okay? Your body is not designed to break down man-made chemicals. And the destruction of my body did not end with, just the heavy metals and the city air pollutants of the 60s and 70s. Then they spent 20 years trying to figure out what was wrong with me, only to find out that I have fibromyalgia and obesity and all these things caused by all the chemical pollutants in my system. And guess what they did about it over those 20 years while they were trying to figure out what was wrong with me? They bombarded me with more chemicals. Anti-inflammatories out the wazoo. Steroids. Chemical anti-inflammatories. Some which have damaged my system beyond repair. I can't even have herbal anti-inflammatories anymore without swelling up like a balloon. Because a certain, I'm going to say it, Celebrex. Celebrex almost killed my brother, and it put him in the hospital with a blockage in his heart, and the only reason it didn't do that to me was because I was only taking it sporadically when I needed to. I wasn't taking it as prescribed. But I still swelled up, and it got to the point where I couldn't even take Advil anymore. So don't tell me chemicals are okay. That organic and chemicals are a chemically grown fruit and an organically grown fruit are going to be the same as far as your health is concerned. My goodness, you must believe that GMOs are just fancy hybridization. This is the Mrs. Wolfie from Our Half Acre Homestead saying, I'm going to remove that comment, but I am going to copy and paste it into the show more info box below so that you can read it for yourself. But for Mike, the guy who made the comment, if this is how you truly feel, you go ahead, buddy. You drink that Kool-Aid. Take care. God bless.